Saturday. I hope you guys are doing good. I got a different table. So instead of having my round table, I have a rectangular one. So I have to work on finding a way to push everything back farther. But hey, Lindsay. Hey, Donna. Hey, Alexandra. How are you guys? Can everybody hear me okay? I hope you guys had a good week. Okay, it doesn't look as close up on the screen, but on my phone it feels like it's like right in my face. So, hey Sissy, how are you? Hey Bubbles. Hey Hannah. Oh, hi Sammy. Hi Venusian. Hey Maddie. Hey Sophia. I wish I could get Whitney to go in one of those backpacks, but she would probably like have a heart attack because she hates even being in the carriers. She's finally like, okay, mom can hold me for a little bit and pick me up, but we haven't gotten to backpacks and stroller level yet. Oh, I'm sorry that you guys are dealing with the storms. Hey, Hondro. Hey, Motivated Queen. Hi, Anisha. Hey, Kel. Hey, Michael. How are you guys? Oh, I'm glad that you're feeling better. So, and you guys, I promise we will get other content up this week. It's been madness over here just with clients and life, and then my neighbor's moving and I've been helping her. So it's been a lot going on that every time I thought like, oh, I'm gonna have a few minutes to sit down and record something, somebody needed me. So, oh, thank you, Hannah. My hair was a lot cuter earlier when I had it all blown out, but then I put it up in a clip because I was doing something. And then when I took it down, it was all funky. So I was like, oh shit, I don't have time to redo it. So, did you guys watch the Barbie World video and listen to this song? Let me know what you guys thought about it. I loved it. I was so excited about it because I was telling my Patreon the Barbie song came out when I was a freshman in high school, and Barbie was like one of my nicknames. So me and my friend used to sing it all the time. So just even for the nostalgia of it all, I was super excited about it. But they did so good, and Ice really stepped up. I was so proud of her. Yes, she does. You know what? I was looking at all of the like pictures for the promo. Hey, Ronette. And I was just thinking Ice is one of those people that could probably pull off like any hairstyle, because let's face it, nobody else could pull off that little short, you know, little Orphan Annie wig that she's been rocking. So seeing her in different hair and stuff, I was like, she's one of those people that could really like, just like Nicki, like pull off so many freaking looks. Different colors, different styles, different lengths, but Ice is so pretty. But, you know, look at how big of a budget that they gave for the video. And this was obviously coming out of Warner's pocket since it's on their soundtrack. Isn't that interesting that they cut the budget for their own, because Warner owns Atlantic, guys. So it's like, Atlantic is publicly talking about how they're like cutting costs in their building and everything, but yet budgets are being extended for Nicki, and yet Carlos was supposed to be the person that was supposed to kick her off her throne, right? So, oh, I know, I love that too. So we just literally got on here, Rissa, like literally just got on, so don't worry about it. We're just talking about the Barbie World soundtrack. So dude, nope, she did not get that budget that she was asking for. It is just interesting, right? But you see how don't know if you guys have seen, of course, Offchi got exposed for cheating again. What else is new? I'm like, girl, at this point, stop bragging about that WAP because your man don't want it. He wants everybody else's. And then, you know, it was, he tried to distract from that, acting like somebody was in Carlos's DMs trying to get at her. Then she came out with this whole, apparently she has a whole divorce plan in place. Oh, well, when you guys succeed and we get divorced, I'm going to end up with a richer dude anyways. And then I'm going to be on the blogs even more because everybody's going to be talking about my new relationship. It's like, okay, girl, y'all are just prepping us for the inevitable divorce. Like, nobody thinks that y'all are going to be Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, or what do you call Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, and just be together forever. Well, that's what I'm saying. Where's the single? It's been more than 2 weeks at this point, right? Or it's like creeping right on up, but I think it's been the 2 weeks. Where's the single? Oh, it did kind of look staged, but you know, listen, Tasha was just taking on every little, I mean, that was the problem at that time, because I did see a couple videos of other people that didn't like Tasha that were like, oh, I slid in her DMs and told her like a bunch of untrue stuff about Carlos. And then she reported it on the show that night. And then they were using it to make fun of Tasha. And Tasha was just so caught up in like, F you, Carlos. But I don't think Tasha like legit sits down and says, what am I going to lie about today? But I think that that situation just got so crazy out of control. Oh, I'm sure her next man will cheat on her too. Like, look at the people that she chooses to be with. And Offset's been cheating. So the untalented Power Rangers comment still has me crying, dude. It's been living rent-free in my head for sure. So I don't think she, you know what, I feel like she was gonna put something out if like she felt like everybody was gonna be super excited for it, but she didn't get everybody clamoring and begging her to put it out the way that she thought. So I think it was just abort mission. And I think that it was, you know, like, oh, well, if everybody seems like they're going to lick my ass, so I do something, then maybe I will. But I also feel like Atlantic said no too. Because I feel like she was trying to push it and they're like, no, we're not releasing it right now. Oh my God, I'll have to go look that up later. No, I don't think any of it's good. I mean, there was a blind item that was saying that she doesn't like any of the songs that she has recorded. And Atlantic said, you already have over 150 songs that we paid for. And so they told her, like, pick whatever, we're releasing it, we're not giving you new ones. And so when we see her in the studio, she's just re-recording parts of those songs that were already recorded just to update them, because some of these songs were songs that, you know, she recorded right after Invasion of Privacy. So some of the references and like pop culture terms and things like that are outdated, so they had to like re-record parts of it. But she's not in there recording new music like people think she is, or like she wants them to think. So I don't think Atlantic shelved her. I think that they're just not giving her what she wants, and she's trying to drag it out because she doesn't want to have to go up against Nicki. Wait, Bird Gang it's turning into Barbs? That's hilarious. I'm sure she loves that. Well, of course she's not. She still hasn't recouped for the first album, so why would they want to put a bunch of money behind her? So I call them bird gang, Kolmika, but garbage gang works too. We don't want that kind of trash on our lawns, right? They litter, they leave cigarette butts everywhere, they don't got any money. Some of them don't even know that they need to use deodorant. It's just like, keep your stinky, trashy butts away from us. We are prosperous. Our hygiene is amazing. We all smell good over here. We drink our water. Like, you gotta be high vibrational to be a barb, okay? Did I hear Carlos on Spaces? I didn't get to hear that. I was on the phone like all morning with my client, so I was like scrambling to catch up with everything before I got on here. So I didn't get to hear that part of it. I just heard the part where she was saying like, oh, if you win and you get what you want, we get divorced, then I'm just going to go get a richer dude anyways. And then they're going to post about me more, but I didn't hear her talking about being 30 and all that. They said they're tired of listening to old songs. They need consistent drops. Well, of course. Hey, Juicy Fruit. I mean, she's not Lauryn Hill that she's going to be able in 20 years from now to still be able to book shows off of her one album. Maybe at the county fair and she'll be opening for Kesha or Iggy Azalea, but that's about all that she's gonna get. And guess what? Kesha's supposed to come out with new music, so I don't even think that's gonna work in her favor. So it's giving abusive relationship. How can you keep standing someone who yells at you constantly and gives you no music? Dude, she treats her fans like shit. That's the thing. It was like, when you see like other artists, either they're Beyonce and they just, you know, it's like, okay, I wait until I'm at the concert and then I engage with my fans who like paid for the tickets to be here, or the Chris Browns who like go above and beyond for their, you know, fans when they meet them in person, or like Lady Gaga like is always super appreciative of her fans. Taylor Swift has had her fans come to her freaking house and bought them Christmas presents and stuff. And then you got Carlos, who's like, you guys suck, and tells them that she wants them to go disappear and all kinds of other horrible things, and says she hates them. And so it's just like, but y'all are still supporting them. Same thing with Doja too, and that's why I said Doja's supposedly supposed to be Lady Gaga's replacement, but she better get it together, because if she keeps speaking to her and treating her fans that way, because they're, at least Doja's fans have some intelligence and self-esteem, at some point they'll say, we can't rock with this anymore. We can't really say the same about anybody who chooses to be part of Bird Gang. And did you guys see that and then they told on themselves on Twitter that they started a petition to get Nicki and Kenny kicked out of the neighborhood, and pretended like they were part of the HOA and told everybody to call the HOA and complain. Like, I really hope to God that Nicki presses charges against these people, because they're putting her and Kenny's lives in danger with some of this dumb shit that they keep doing. Calling the police and, you know, all of that. So, and Ice Spice, you know, that's the thing. Carlos needs to quit worrying about Nicki and what she's doing and be more concerned about what Ice Spice has going on, because Ice Spice is Carlos's replacement. Which, let me just clarify this real quick. Nicki did not buddy up to Ice Spice because she somehow found out that she was Cardi's replacement. Although, it's definitely worked out in both of their favors. Well, people were saying that, I saw in some of the posts about that that some of the Bird Gang was bragging about how Carlos was in DMs and group chats with him, being like, oh, that's a good idea, you should do that, and encouraging them. Which I told you guys on the last one when we asked about who called the police, her and Offset were the ones that made that thing happen. So, which Offset needs to freaking stop getting involved in all that shit too, because guess what? At some point y'all are gonna get divorced. And then what are you gonna do, Offset, when you and her aren't together anymore? Are you still gonna be sitting there being petty towards people that she ended up having issues with? Because I guarantee you, by the time they finally do get divorced, Carlos is gonna have a lot of people that don't want to mess with her in the industry. That was hilarious when I said about grabbing a pen in her verse. Like, I literally was like, oh, that was a shot towards a lot of people. And that's what's, Coyle Ray is Karen the Mistress from Ohio, aka 21 Savage's side piece replacement. So, but you guys, I saw this. I'll post it on my Instagram stories later so you guys can see it. And my Instagram is linked on the top, but on the pinned message on the top. But somebody paid Teresa from the Real Housewives of New Jersey to do a cameo to send to their friend, and it's a freaking hilarious because Teresa, you can tell, is like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? She's like, hi Jessica, your friend Rachel paid me to do this for you. She said that you slept with your fiance's brother and he has chlamydia and the whole family knows about it. And she wanted me to give you advice on what you should do. And I was like, Safari is on Cameo. We should order one of those for our friend Yolanda and have it send it to her. But then me and my friend were laughing. I think it was me and Hondra were laughing because we were like, could you imagine like Safari? He'd be like, you need to go to the doctor and get your pum pum checked because it ain't straight. I can't do it the way that he does. And they start dancing around and shit. But he charges $250 on Cameo, and I wouldn't spend more than $2.50 on either him or Yolanda. So, but that would be hilarious if Safari was doing like $20, like if all the Barbs like started hiring him to make cameos to diss Carlos. That would be the funniest thing ever, because you know he'd do it, but we would just put different names like Chalupa, Carlos, Yolanda. He's got child support to pay, so I'm sure he'd still do it. But that's why I'm not spending $250 on him. Like, no, if it was like $20, I would consider it. Although, like I said, I'd rather spend $2.50. But this is the thing though, you know, when people said that, like, that, you know, oh, they wanted Nicki to throw shots at people. I'm like, it's a soundtrack song. It's not from her own album. You know, that's why I was honestly surprised that like Ice even made the diss about picking up a pen, because, you know, that was not at all expected given that it's a freaking soundtrack song. It's not from either one of their albums. So, oh my God. Right? That would be crazy. What's wrong? Mommy closed the window. You want it open? Hang on, let me open the blinds for Whitney, because otherwise she's going to have a fit and start jumping against the window. Here. Usually you're taking your baby nap right now. Why are you up looking out the windows? Did you say I heard you guys were talking about my Barbie song that I like? Whitney very much liked that music video and song. So apparently she was like, since you guys are talking about the song I like, I'm going to come over here and be involved. But no, I think that definitely she's going to wait, and then, you know, the diss will be on that. But also, I mean, she already released Red Ruby the Sleaze, which was a big diss towards a lot of people too. So it was just like, how many times does she need to keep dissing them? Because, you know, at some point you don't want her to, because then it just feeds into the bullying accusations. Plus it just gives them clout. You know, because that's the thing. Everybody always wants to use Nicki for clout. So that's why I kind of get on the fence where I'm like, oh, I want her to just rip them to shreds. But then on the other side of it, I'm like, I don't want you to give like nobodies like Lotto and people who are falling off like Carlos like attention, because then they're gonna trend and then people will start talking about them again. And it's like, let them just go to sleep and disappear. So oh yeah, definitely Ice has been writing her own raps. I mean, and that's the thing, when people keep saying that like, oh, she's like an industry playing all of this stuff, but she writes her own music. It's if anybody's an industry plant, it's Carlos, where it's like, you know, they just slapped the title rapper on her and gave her all the help in the world, and all she had to do was just stand in front of the microphone and talk. So and all she does really, I saw somebody say earlier and I was like, oh my God, that's so true. They were like, all she does is yell and bark on her tracks anyways. Like, she doesn't have a flow. It's not really rapping. It's just yelling into the microphone. And it's like, if we're going to listen to somebody that just yells into the microphone, let's listen to Meek Mills, because at least he writes. And at least he talks about different stuff. And at least he's got some kind of talent. You know, he's annoying as shit. And he does scream. But at least, you know, he's got other things going for him. Carlos doesn't have any of that. So we're not reading on that tonight, D. And I'm not taking questions right now yet either. So, well, and that's the thing, when people keep saying that like, oh, Ice sounds the same. I'm like, I think you guys are getting it confused though with the fact that like some people just have like super distinctive voices. Cause like, I don't know, would you expect Jeezy, like nobody complains that Jeezy sounds the same on every song. Or that DMX did. Like, when you have a really distinctive voice and way of, like, speaking or rapping, like, it's really hard to, like, just suddenly, like, put on a whole new voice. But it doesn't mean that she doesn't change the flow or the cadence to match the song. And I think people maybe need to learn some of their music terms and have a little better understanding before they start claiming things. So... no, we were just gonna start reading on Tasha and Cardi because I want to see if Tasha's ever gonna pay Cardi, but also because I was telling my Patreon the other day when they were all going back and forth with each other, is that they were is that basically Carlos has such a reckless mouth that she better be careful, because she's making a whole lot of accusations and allegations against Tasha, and she might fuck around and say the wrong thing, and then Tasha's got a countersuit against her. So, because she's just, but that's what, you know, and that's what pisses Carlos off so much. She wants Tasha to just curl up in the corner and cry and beg for mercy and be like, I have to live in a cardboard box, please, Carlos. let me be, have mercy on my soul. And because Tasha's like, I don't give a shit, fuck you. That pisses her off so much, and that's why she can't stop arguing with her. So, but also, if you guys haven't noticed too, because honestly, you know, Carlos will go to the extent of arguing with Barb's, or throwing subtle shade. Like, I'm 30, I'm not 40 yet, I'm not old, or whatever dumb shit that she says, but she doesn't outwardly say anything to Nicki. So because she's scared as shit. So when she wants to fight with people, she will fight with Akbar and Tasha K so that she can get her name trending. So, oh my gosh, she's gonna age like a prune. Hold on, I'm gonna use my other cards for this. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Spirit first and foremost just what's going on with the two of them, and then I'll ask if Tasha's ever gonna pay her. Spirit, please tell me just an overall view of what is going on and the energy surrounding Tasha and Cardi B seemingly surrounding beef. Thank you. But, I mean, did you see that Carlos tried to say that Tasha embezzled and hid her money in Africa? I'm like, girl, do you know what embezzling means? You can't embezzle your own money. So, oh, thank you. It's like, I honestly need to toss this bottle of nail polish because it's like going bad. It's like the Sally Hansen Quick Dry. I just threw it on my nails over other chipping nail polish because I didn't have time to like fully do my nails, but they were chipping kind of bad underneath. And so I just grabbed something that I knew would dry fast enough before I got on live. But sometimes the Insta dry ones don't stay, like they chip fast, I've noticed. I don't know if it's in all of the colors, but some of them it seems like they chip really quickly. I just don't got the time and the energy and the patience to be sitting around waiting for my nails to dry at this point in my life. So, let's see. I mean, Cardi is really gonna have to work really, really hard to try to get anything out of Tasha. Because, you know, Tasha, I heard that she said that, like, oh, I never said I wasn't gonna pay the girl. I just said I don't have it right now because I have all these debts or whatever. And I do feel like, you know, she is going to, if she can't get it completely dismissed in the bankruptcy, which people keep trying to say, oh, well, she can't get it dismissed in the bankruptcy. She can in Florida. Florida, they will dismiss judgments from lawsuits in bankruptcies as long as there was no like physical harm. Like you didn't run her over with your car, you just ran her down with your mouth. So it depends on the judge. You know, because just like anything, when you go to bankruptcy court, MasterCard can show up and say, oh, we don't want this dismissed and we want to challenge it and force them to have to pay us back. So it's going to depend on, you know, how convincing Cardi's lawyers can be to the bankruptcy judge and what he ultimately decides. But I do see them going back and forth in court some more. Cardi's in desperate need of trying to get this money, and she's angry that she hasn't gotten it. But the crazy thing is, it's like, girl, like, why did you think, because it's almost like she really believed that Tasha was going to have $4 million sitting around to just hand right over to her. And I think maybe Cardi over expected like how much Tasha makes. Like, oh, I thought YouTube paid her so much money, you know, that she was gonna be able to pay me off within a few years, and she didn't consider that, like, even when you are on like a payment plan, because that's what happens, like if you don't have all that money, you have to go on a payment plan, they're still gonna have to, like, there's a cap on how much they can take from you, because they have to make sure that you can still have a roof over your head, feed your kids, you know, go to the doctor, things like that. So it caps out at 25% of somebody's monthly or earnings or whatever. So she's actually, you know what's funny and what's coming up here? She's exactly as I predicted. If she, you know, she can change this if she watches this, because Cardi likes to watch YouTube videos. She's gonna spread some lies about Tasha that turn out to not be true. And here comes the tower moment for Cardi, because we've got the Queen of Swords. We know Cardi is a Libra, or claims to be one. So this is her. So yep, getting in her own way, listening to other people, repeating things that are untrue. Basically, she's gonna do to Tasha what Tasha did to her. Everybody told me all these stories about Carlos, so I reported on it. So now Carlos is going to go run to the internet and tell everybody business that she thinks she knows about Tasha. And Tasha's going to turn around and sue her ass. And everything will be null and void. So when Tasha said to her, oh, you know, you seem like you're more interested in being a blogger, your own self, than a rapper, then she's gonna act like a blogger and get herself in some trouble. So no, Tasha, she's gonna do something where Tasha's gonna be able to sue her ass right back, because she was saying that Tasha got paid to use the lawyers that she did. And I was like, so did you, who paid Tasha to use Olga as her attorney? Did Olga pay Tasha? Because that's some strong claims to make about a lawyer, you dumb shit. But who else would have paid Tasha to use Olga as her lawyer? That makes no sense. Just like, unless you can prove that Tasha did hide her money in Africa, that's another thing that she can go after you for. And Spirit saying, Tasha's sitting here just steadily writing all of this down and being like, okay, keep going. I'm going to keep messing with you, because we all know Tasha is much more, you know, way smarter than Cardi. She got caught up in the ego and then the hatred of the back and forth with Cardi, and that's where she made mistakes. But Tasha is not a stupid person. She did some stupid things. There is a difference. We can't say the same thing about Yolanda Saldivar Jr. And she is going to put herself in the same exact position, and Spirit says Tasha caught on to that, so she purposely eggs her on. Because it's like, please keep lying about me, and then I'm going to take you to court, and this will get me out of what I owe you. Don't play checkers with somebody that's playing chess, Cardi. Oh, yeah, because she's sitting in the windowsill. The neighbors across from us have cats, too, so she likes to sit in the window and wait for their cats to come to the window and then punk them. And both of those cats are twice as big as she is, but they get so scared of her. It's hilarious. So, oh, Spirit said Tasha will have much better lawyers next time. I mean, hey, listen, Tasha's in Florida now. Do you know who's registered as an attorney in Florida? Jose Baez. Imagine Imagine she got him to go after Carlos. That would be hilarious. Well, that's the thing. Why isn't she going after him for her payment as hard as she's going after Tasha? So now let's see if Cardi is gonna get any money out of Tasha, because she's definitely trying to do spiritual work to make that happen. Which, guess what? Again, Cardi, you were better off just sticking to the spells you were doing that were getting you the money and opportunities that you were getting in the first place. All of your revenge spells on people never work, because Nicki's still out here thriving. Ice Spice is going to continue to blow up. Jade didn't fall over into a ditch. You know, all the people that she's tried to do work on have all survived and prospered and thrived. So maybe the universe is like, girl, we're not on your sides with this. So hang on, I'll take questions in a minute, guys. I'm looking to see if she does get anything out of Tasha before this all happens. Nope, she's gonna have to keep fighting, but in the meantime, it's like, here she is trying to get the money, and then here it's always the Tower card after her attempting to get this money. So she's not really going to get anything out of Tasha, honestly. I would be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if that $670 that they snatched from YouTube before Tasha filed for bankruptcy was pretty much all she ends up getting. And Spirit's saying that even if the judge in Tasha's bankruptcy case upholds the judgment, he's going to lower the amount or really work with Tasha to make that amount super manageable, where it's like a deadbeat dad, you get $50 a month out of child support type of a situation. So Carlos isn't going to be even paying her cell phone bill off of what she could possibly even try to squeeze out of Tasha. But she'll screw everything up for herself before Tasha really gives her any big money. Oh, Cardi's done work on everybody that she feels is a threat to her. Either to make somebody turn around and lick her butt and become her little minion, or against them to try to mess with them. The girl does not stop doing spell work on people. That's why she's so filled with hatred, because she's constantly in that dark energy and entertaining it. And when you live in that, you only attract that back to yourself. It's not even the karma aspect of it. It's that really energy is a magnet. So like, if you notice, like when you go out and you feel good and you're like, my ass looks great today, my makeup and hair came out great, I love my outfit, what happens? Everybody seems to treat you better, right? They're not looking at the physical part of you and just being like, wow, she's so cute today, I want to smile at that girl or open the door for her, be extra nice to her when she's checking out at the grocery store. It's because they're being attracted to the energy that you're living from and exuding. Because energy really is like a magnet. It either repels or draws in what you're looking for. And so when all you're doing is sitting in anger and hate and being pissed off and jealousy, the universe is like, that's what you like to live in, and you're just going to keep drawing that same type of energy back to you in your own life. So, which it's crazy, because it's like, girl, if you're doing spells, then you should have more of a big picture view of what exactly, you know, spirituality and energy is, so that you can not bring that back on yourself. But she doesn't care. So, but that's also why, like, you see that the people she brings around her are all or that are attracted to her are all, you know, kind of negative too. You know, she has such a negative, mean-spirited fan base because they're attracted to that. That's why they'll put up with her screaming at them and telling them, you know, horrible things and fighting with them and cussing them out. So, dude, I just have to say, you know, like I've always said, I never agreed with all the things that Tasha was doing and saying at that time, but I've always felt like $4 million was so excessive. I think they should have just been like, take the videos down and pay her lawyer fees and give her $20,000 or something for therapy. But the way that Tasha has just been like, I don't care, you're not ruining my life, I'm still gonna be out here and live and enjoy myself. I'm just like, that's how we need to be when we're in the middle of, you know, something that's stressful, because it's like you can only control things to a certain extent. You can't let it control you. So, hey Nicholas, how are you, babes? So now let's see, was the judge in that case super biased against Tasha? Thank you, Spirit. Well, did you guys see that it went from Meghan needed to take time to focus and heal? First it was, I'm putting out new music. Then it was, I'm not putting out music, I'm not focused on that, I'm only focused on healing right now. And now it's, I can't put out music right now, so don't ask, because of her lawsuits with Carl. So it's just like, you know, but people say, oh, there's no possible way that Meghan lies about anything. I'm like, she changed her story about even putting out music 100 times already. But y'all don't think that she could have lied on Tori? And for people that were all up in arms because Kylie was listening to the Tori song that just dropped, don't forget that Meghan was bullying Kylie. And everybody knows I'm not a fan of the K-Clan, but in this case, Meghan was definitely bullying Kylie. She was picking shit at her at her own house. She went and tried to have lunch with her baby daddy and made sure the internet saw that after the whole situation happened, and that was before Tori even got charged. Jason Lee exposed, and that's why him and Cardi weren't talking for a minute, that Meghan tried to fight Kylie at Cardi's birthday party, the one that she did when we were in quarantine, and had to get kicked out. So it's like, let Kylie listen to Tori's music and leave her alone. Like, she's more than justified in being like, screw you. Oh my God, that's hilarious, Lindsay. I'm not going to repeat that out loud. We do have live chat replay turned on for anybody that is part of the replay crew later. You guys can look at what Lindsay said about what Millie said, but I was like, I'm not trying to get in trouble with YouTube for repeating that. So, anyways, well, and I'm sure that Meghan also doesn't like Kylie because allegedly her and Chris were the one that sent Tori a list of like attorneys that he should call when he did get charged for that situation. Because, you know, they know all the defense attorneys and all the attorneys in LA because of the dad. So, okay, let's see. Spirit saying that this judge definitely was biased against Tasha in that lawsuit case because they do have a little bit of like, oh, well, you know, it's a celebrity and like this would be a big deal if I didn't let her win this case. I do feel like there was pressure on the judge to be on Carlos's side. I also am getting that, you know, her crying about, oh, my kids, and I'm a mom, and my family, and everybody's hurt because of this, was, what do you call, definitely, you know, helped sway things in her favor too. So, yeah, Tasha did get screwed. She needed a different judge that would have been more fair about that. I already covered that in Patreon when that happened anyways, Yozora. So if you guys do want to join the Patreon, that is the only place I take requests for readings on these celebrities. And we also talk about the Illuminati and go live every week and have all kinds of exclusive content. So yeah, well, she played up the mental health and my children and all that kind of stuff and made the judge feel bad for her. But the judge also, you know, was swayed by the, you know, connections that Cardi has and the celebrity that she has and everything. Because Spirit's like, if this was now even, it wouldn't have been like so much of like, oh my God, we have to make sure that Cardi wins, even with the same judge. But Spirit's also saying that judge is going to get themselves in big trouble because they're going to continue to do things like this and it will come up under question later on. And they may end up not being a judge anymore. Or at least not in the federal court like that. So, oh boy. Yeah, it was very much a corrupt, you know, legal thing. So let's look at Remus and Papoose. I heard that, Black Charlie, where she said that she kept threatening her, but then, and was talking shit to her, but only doing it when all her bodyguards were around her. So, dude, and Tasha had the worst lawyers too. So she definitely needs better lawyers. But anyways, let's look at Remy and Papoose because allegedly Remy had an affair with somebody and Papoose beat him up, and allegedly they're not living in the same house right now. Do you guys know what the name of the guy was? I was like digging around and I couldn't find it again. The guy that she supposedly like cheated with. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning, Yozora. So, Papoose sounds like a nickname for my hoo-ha. Well, the real meaning of it is supposed to be like a Native American's baby carrier. And I'm like, why would you pick that as your rap name anyways? That's a weird when you really think about it. Okay, Easy the Block. All right. Let me grab these other cards for this one. Well, that's why I was like, if she cheated on him after he held her down through everything and then has been writing her raps for her, because you know what I was thinking about the other day? For somebody that was, you know, supposedly such a real rapper and all the stuff that she claims, how come she didn't come out of jail with like a shit ton of songs written and ready to go? Tupac was in jail, and when he came home, he recorded like 100 songs the first month that he was out, and it was a bunch of stuff that he'd written while he was locked up. Plus, he had a book that he was in the middle of writing. He wrote a ton of poems. He was writing people letters like crazy. And he was not locked up for nearly as long as Remy was. And supposedly, you know, she'd been rapping longer than he had. And so that's why I was like, Young Thug released an album from jail. there's so, you know, there's kind of no excuse for it. So that's why, like, I believe when people say that he writes for her. Papoose is cute too. And he can rap. I mean, that's the thing. He took a big step back to try to, like, push her career because she was more well known. He should have been out there grinding his ass off and making himself a star while she was locked up. Because he's the one in that relationship that I feel like really deserved it. So, I mean, the career. Playboy Cardi is not Tupac reincarnated. First of all, I don't think that, it was like, I don't know how old Playboy Cardi is. So I don't know if he was born after Tupac passed away. But Tupac would never be running around with 666 tattoos on the back of his head and being a demon clown. So, let me see. Spare, can you tell me what happened to my name? Thank you. That's hilarious. It was like, maybe he's like Milli Vanilli reincarnated. He's 26. So that means that he would have had to have been born like the year of or the year after Tupac died. So that's cutting it real freaking close. Tupac did not reincarnate. He's still on the other side. He unfortunately did die. That's the thing that gets me when people say, oh, Tupac's hiding in Cuba or Belize or whatever. There's no way that Tupac would have been able to just live in secrecy. Because he felt like he came to this earth with, like, on a soul level, like, a really strong mission. And that he needed to bring certain people, you know, bring people's attention to certain things. Because Spirit's always said, and if you're on my Patreon and you've watched any of my videos of channeling Tupac, he, you know, was definitely going to be more of an activist as he got older. More so than, you know, even the little bits that we did see from him. And he really would have tapped into that Black Panther history in his family. So somebody that, you know, wants to be loud and make changes and has that type of personality would not be okay with, let me pretend like I died and then go spend the rest of my life in the jungle and nobody ever sees or hears from me again. I wish to God he was still alive, just like I wish Michael Jackson was still too, but unfortunately they have passed. That's one conspiracy theory that isn't true, unfortunately. And even if he had reincarnated, it does not mean that he would be any of the trash rappers that we're seeing right now, okay? Because you would have to have some talent. So, I think if Pac was alive and still made music, it would be very different, of course, than anything we're hearing now, but especially very different just from the stuff that we did hear from him. Like, I feel like it would be much more like, I have a message to share, very like activism type music. So, and him and Big would have ended up making up and coming together to try to change the music industry. They would have stopped all the predatory shit that people were doing, especially people like Diddy, and signing all of these bogus contracts where, you know, you work your ass off and you barely get anything. Because like Danity Kane, they said they got like $5,000 all together from like the shows, the tours, the music, and all of that. And there's plenty of other people that have said similar things about Diddy, you know, working under him. So it's like they would have put an end to those predatory things like that and started their own label that was very fair and equitable to artists. But Michael Jackson wanted to do the same thing. Prince wanted to do the same thing. There is a reason why all those people are no longer here. Because they were a threat to the industry. Because the industry pretty much only puts people in 360s at this point. So they never would have been able to do that if they had heavyweights like Pac and Big and Michael and Prince, because all of them probably would have ended up teaming up together to do something and make those changes and start their own label that was fair. So anyways, let's see what is going on with Miss Remus and Mr. Papoose. Oh boy. For now, they're not making any announcements on what it is that they're going to, like, they're not going to, like, hourly come out and be like, we broke up, guys. We're getting a divorce. Give us our peace right now, because they want this cheating story to blow over, and then we'll get a super PR type of announcement of we remain committed to our businesses and being best friends kind of, you know, statement. However, they will end up announcing some sort of a split, probably could be as early as like the end of this year, but probably more like next year, because I feel like them waiting about 6 months before they announce anything, unless, you know, again, this is based off the current energy right now. They could go to marriage counseling and really like work really hard to save the marriage if they want to, and then that would change things. But she definitely has been stepping out with somebody. Is this guy younger than her? Or I mean, he's just super immature, because she's been, you know, doing things that she shouldn't have done outside of the marriage with somebody else. And I feel bad for Papoose. He, you know, again, he held her down while she was gone for so long, took care of her son, visited her every week, did all this stuff, you know. So it's like, okay, now when you're home, like, and you feel like, oh, I have some things going for me, you want to go like screw around, like how messed up is that? He definitely did not see this coming, but we do have the Two of Cups in reverse and this Five of Pentacles talking about, you know, that this is a broken relationship and being upset about it. I feel like he's the one that's upset, not so much her. She's more pissed about the way that things came out. She's more trying to kind of cover her ass, like, oh, it didn't happen like that, or like people are lying. Like, she's still kind of trying to wiggle her way out of it, but she's not feeling, you know, it's more like I'm mad I got caught, but I'm not mad I did it yet, if that makes sense. So, and we'll see her, side note, we will see her try to throw out some more disses towards Nicki, even though she's been on the, I've been trying to make it seem like I don't have a problem with Nicki and I support her tour for so long. Now she's gonna backtrack, not just because it's trying to get back in the game, get attention on the things that she has to promote, try to see, like, is anybody, like, gonna pick me up, you know, for some relevance in this situation, but also is a good distraction of, look over here, I diss Nicki, don't pay attention to what's going on in my relationship. So she's Girl, you are so messed up. That's all I can say. Because she's definitely been doing this. And also it's coming up that this isn't the first time that she's cheated on him. There's been a couple other incidents. She doesn't do the whole I went and had a one night stand kind of thing. She likes the sneaky link relationship type of thing. And really, Spirit saying, you know, she's in a place where her career obviously never went the direction that she wanted it to. And she feels like she's never going to have the career that she wants. So instead of dealing with and addressing that, she's chasing the high and the attention of other men because it's, you know, the like validation, like, oh, well, you're not completely washed if that guy wants you, even though they're two separate things. But people, you know, typically do conflate things sometimes, and that's where cheating comes from at certain times. So yes, she did cheat on him. And Papoose is pissed. So let's see. Spirit, has Papoose ever cheated on me? Thank you. Not since she's been home, but when she was locked up. But Spirit's saying they had an agreement, you know, because it's like you can't expect that you're gonna go away for what was it, 70 years, and your man's not gonna step out at some point. And so to her, it was like, if he's willing to still stay down with me through this, you know, I don't care if he goes out and like gets his needs met in the physical, as long as like he's still there for me through this experience. Spirit's saying that he did have somebody that, you know, he sort of was going to for this because he didn't feel comfortable about just going out and hooking up with like randos whenever. However, he could tell that like the relationship, or like, you know, whatever the situationship, I guess we should call it, with that other woman would have maybe developed in some more, and that him and the girl would have caught feelings, and then he would have wanted to have left Remy and been with that other girl. And so he cut that situation off to protect, you know, everybody in that situation. But now he's mad, and he's like, that girl really liked me and she was really nice. Like, maybe I should have tried to stay with her, because then maybe we would have had a great marriage and I wouldn't be in this situation right now. But Spirit saying after that ended, he like maybe once or twice like did like have like a kind of one night stand type situation, and it was like with an ex of his. But for the most part, he wasn't out here running around in the streets like maybe people would assume that he was. And Remy, of course, like knew about it, and he told her that, you know, he cut that situation off because he just could see it turning into something complicated down the road. Like, he didn't tell her I was catching feelings. He was just like, you know, when things go on too long, somebody starts expecting something, and I didn't want that. And then, you know, after that, there was never anybody else really around that he felt like he had to tell her about. So, oh, he's 34. Okay. See, he's almost 10 years younger than her, because he was showing up as the Knight of Cups. So, oh boy. That was the side dude. So, exactly. Okay. And that's the thing that Spirit's saying. Like, Remy's trying to justify it. Like, I let you go have your fun. And it's like, but that was an entirely different situation. We weren't married. You were in prison. Like, I'm up the freaking street in our house. Like, what the hell? And we're married and we have a baby together now. Like, it's entirely different than how, like, it used to be. So, do you know how many people are going to run to Papoose when they do announce that they're done? Because I don't feel him wanting to forgive her. Spirit's saying they've been having other problems because he's felt like she doesn't really, like, respect him deep down inside. It's like, you take me for granted and you count on me, but you don't respect me as the man. It's almost like he feels like Remy looks at Papoose like Papoose is the wife and Remy's the husband. And so Spirit's saying, you know, this was the final straw for him. Like, she would have tried to work it out, but it wouldn't be, like, her heart's not in it. It would be more, it's convenient to stay with him. And I don't want to walk around with egg on my face because then everybody's going to say, oh, look, you know, Remy's trash. But it's like, so that's why I feel like they'll drag out announcing it and try to make sure that everything's, like, worked out behind the scenes as far as, like, who's gonna have the baby when and who's moving out and who gets the couch and stuff before we hear about it. So, hey, I heard you broke up. I know, I was like, watch out, guys. 2024, Papoose is gonna be out here in these streets wilding out. So, well, that's the thing, and I get the sense, too, so that's interesting, because I didn't know what sign he was, that he's a Cancer, because I feel like he's more of the children's caregiver in that house, too. And I think, you know, even with her son, I feel like her son is more likely to go to Papoose with things than Remy, because that's who he was around more, you know, for a big chunk of his childhood. And so I think that that allowed her to start thinking, like, oh, well, he's Mr. Mom and he is the house husband. And I'm out here, you know, constantly going to work and doing things while he's the one at home cooking dinner and feeding the baby and making sure the kids went to school on time. That she kind of, you know, took the switch and roles a little too seriously and started treating him differently because of it. You hope you run into him. Oh, my God. If one of y'all ends up with Papoose, I'm going to die laughing. Wait, what is Carlos and Off-Cheat doing? I'm like, I'm missing out on everything since I'm over here talking about Remy and Papoose. What happened? Well, that's the thing. But you know what? How many times, though, do we always see either the girl or the man that somebody cheats with? They always look like a gutter snipe or the great value version of the other partner. People always cheat down. So, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, calling people broke is not an insult these days because everybody calls everybody broke. Like, can't you come up with something else? Oh, she's completely going to end up regretting it, especially once Papoose ends up with somebody else. Because I feel like he's going to end up, he's a Pisces. Well, I feel like he's got heavy water energy. I feel like his Venus or maybe his Mercury is also water. But you know, he's got that caregiver water energy around him. But he's going to end up with some girl who is so, like, nurturing and, like, mothery, because I feel like, you know, whoever he dates next, he's going to look for the complete opposite of Remy's energy. And I feel like the next girl will be a bit younger than him, like, still in her 30s. It's still age appropriate. Like, he's not going to go date, you know, a 20-year-old. But this girl is going to make him feel like he's able to be a man in their relationship and that he does get respect. And then Remy is going to lose her fucking mind when she sees him being so happy and supported and getting all the things from his next relationship that he complained to her that she wasn't giving to him. So, oh my God, so many of you guys are in these comments saying that y'all want Papoose. And listen, Carlos and Offset's finances are not in the best place right now either. He can't release any music. She isn't. They're doing Walmart endorsements. I mean, so, and yeah, Walmart might have gave you a big bag, but you got even bigger bills. So they need to knock it the hell off calling anybody broke. So no, you guys are funny. I think Papoose is cute, and I love his personality. I mean, the way that he stepped up and the thing, you know, I think he's seems like a great person. To be honest with you, there was plenty of times that I was like, I thought, and I've watched like maybe like 3 episodes of Love and Hip Hop with them on it, because I don't really watch that show. And I just remember thinking when I was watching it, like, maybe I misjudged Remy, because if this man loves her so much and he's so good to her, like, maybe there's something more to her that I'm not seeing that, like, would make this man want to stick around and be involved in all of this. So, well, I feel like he'll probably end up spending a lot of time with the baby, you know, when they split up too. Like, almost like he ends up with her more often than Remy does. Not in a sense of Remy being like dumping the kid on him and running around in the streets, or him trying to take the baby, but more so just she wants to always be with her dad. So it just naturally kind of happens that way. So, but okay, so what else is going on? Because you guys are saying that they're making a big spectacle about this. Oh God. Remember, because somebody reminded me in Patreon the other day. Is that the last time that he had a big cheating scandal when she left him, basically, you know, Cardi, basically, and then he said y'all won and tried to blame it on all of us, like we made her leave him. So when she said, you know, oh, you guys are gonna make me divorce him, I'm like, okay, now this is Carlos's version of y'all won. What kind of a shitty ass relationship do you have? Number one, that your husband's constantly getting caught cheating on you, and number two, that you guys are really gonna let the internet break you up and then blame the internet for that? Shouldn't your relationship be so strong that you don't give 2 shits about what people say? Because it's like, if y'all love each other so much, if the internet can say whatever the hell they want all day long, and you guys would be like tuning it out, you guys are idiots, we're good over here. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, for Jesus Christ, like, look at how much shit, like, people talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage. They're still together. And the internet would love it if Beyonce left him, but she doesn't, you know, let the internet dictate her life. Same thing. Everybody's, I mean, even barbs that love Nicki are like, I want her to leave Kenny. She's not letting anybody tell her what to do. What did Nicki say? I'm not letting the internet run me. Y'all can't even run your own lives. That's what you're supposed to do. So, oh my gosh. Well, exactly. Because aren't we all broke? What does our opinions matter if we're broke anyways? Shouldn't we just shut our little broke ass mouths up and mind our own business? And whatever broke people have to say doesn't matter because we don't understand rich people's lives because we don't have their money and resources. So, again, pick one. So let's look at Harry and Meghan real quick because I just wanted to see, you know, what Spirit has to say about this Spotify deal ending and sort of what's going on with them because people keep saying that they're breaking up. So we'll just look at them real quick. Oh my God, that's true, Alexandra. If Beyonce left the internet, people would say she's working in Cuba with an album with Tupac. Well, Beyonce's hardly ever on the internet anyways, not compared to other people. And I'm not, you know, I'm not a Beyonce fan, so don't take it as me defending her. I'm just using her as an example. So, Spirit, what can you tell me about editing and how they're just going? Thank you. That bodysuit is definitely musty. Ugh. I wonder how many versions of, like, you know, like when, because they'll have like very specific outfits that they wear every night on tour. I wonder how many versions of like the bodysuits and the pieces that they wear on stage they make, because there's no way that you can be on stage under those hot ass lights for hours at a time, dancing around and singing. And, you know, even if you're Taylor Swift and you're not fully doing choreography, like you see, like they always look all sweaty by the end of the show. So, like, them costumes from the stage gotta be funky as shit by the time that they get backstage and take them off. So, and then I was just wondering, do they have to stop at the dry cleaners, like at their next tour stop, or like how does that all work? Because I gotta look that up. I just like thought about that right now. It was like after all of the Summer and Meech being musty talk lately. Now I just keep wondering if everybody's musty. Because that's the worst. I mean, there's one thing if it's like you're musty because you were running around and it was a hot day and, you know, like you were like moving or you just came back from the gym or whatever. That's like a temporary, like you're going to go in the house and wash up. So like you didn't have enough time for the sweat to really like sit there and do its thing and being all stinky and BO and all that. It's another when people just don't have good hygiene and they're like they have that's a whole other level of musty that I cannot stand to be around. Oh my God. Not that I want to be around you when you're stinky out of the gym, but I'll excuse that. But it's that I walked around in my own stench for a week that I can't. I cannot. That's, dude, I'm like still like, I swear the thing that made me like so like OCD about stuff like that was when I was in high school. I worked at the mall and these people came in and I literally thought like they were dressed up as like a costume or that I was getting punked or something because they literally looked like the Beverly Hillbillies well, not even the Beverly Hillbillies, because at least they had money. Like, they like had on overalls. Their hair was so freaking greasy, like all the way down to the bottoms of it, that it looked like they hadn't washed it in months. And we could smell them coming before they even got in the store. After they left, my manager literally closed the store down so that we could clean it to try to get rid of the smell. And she was like, I don't think those people have bathed in months. And it was a family of them. And so like since then, like I am so scared of ever smelling anything like that again. And I've always been like, oh my God, do I smell? And never wanting anybody to think I'm the stinky person. And it's just like, you can never forget like when you've encountered something like that. So that's so nasty. I don't know how the hell like you can't take a shower more than once a week. I mean, washing your hair once a week, like I get that, whatever. I don't wash my hair every day, but I shower multiple times a day. And every morning and every night, and usually at least sometime in the middle of the day too. So I cannot get in bed if I didn't shower the day off. And if I had to skip one of them showers, I'm always still taking my nighttime shower, because I don't know how people can lay down in bed if they didn't wash the day off of them. So, oh my God. See, that's the thing though, is that you cannot, like, Meech and Summer would never ever be able to endorse a soap because people wouldn't believe that it worked or that it smelled good. Like, they screwed themselves over. So that's how I am, Alexandra. Like, I wash my hair like once, maybe twice a week, but I am in that shower every single day, scrubbing myself down. So, okay. So the first thing that's coming up as far as the podcast, because yes, there was, you know, not the numbers that Spotify was looking for as far as, you know, continuing it, but Spirit's also saying their numbers weren't so like horrendous either, that it was like, oh, we have to get rid of you. And keep in mind, Michelle Obama had her podcast taken, you know, canceled too, and a ton of people have, because the former CEO of Spotify was giving out ridiculous amounts of money to people, and he was trying to turn Spotify into like the biggest podcast home. And so he was trying to lure people off of all the other networks that he saw as competition, like Barstool Sports, and bring them over there. And so he was giving them tons of money to do so. And so Spirit saying they didn't necessarily cut Meghan and Harry because of the numbers or because of the budget, more so that they wanted certain content from them that Meghan and Harry were unwilling to give them. You know, they never planned on spending the rest of their life speaking about the royal family. And Meghan, especially when she was sitting down trying to decide, like, what's the content going to be of this and how are we going to do this, she was obviously and she's still in the same situation where it's like she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't. You know, every single thing that she says or does, people pick apart and destroy and hate her for. So she became very, you know, sort of like, I don't want to say certain things. Let's just keep it very like about other people. And that didn't exactly like draw on the numbers that they wanted. And Spirit saying Spotify was pushing them, give us more royal family content. And it's like, we don't want to just sit there and bash everybody in that family anymore. Like, we only ever just wanted to tell our side of the story so that we could clear up misconceptions, let everybody know what happened, and then move on and do other things. So that's basically like where that all sort of, came. And so they mutually decided, like, since we can't do what you guys want, it's better for us to just cut ties and move on. So, as far as their marriage goes, they are trying, on a business perspective to secure their own deals and things separately, not because either one of them thinks the other one is ruining their lives or their reputations or any of that, but more so just because both of them do have different things that they each want to do. And it's like, if Meghan wants to work on projects, that help women or highlight certain things around women's issues, does Harry need to always be there? Like, what if we're talking about women's health access and fibroids? What does Harry have to add to that conversation? Same way that what does Meghan have to add when Harry's talking about his experience in the military and trying to help veterans? So we will see them taking on bigger projects but separately, and see less of them together in the business aspect. But their marriage is fine. There's no trouble there. Everything is good on the home front. So they really do love each other. They are not, trying to break up or fighting with each other constantly. They have very small disagreements. Spirit's saying they don't even get in these big ass fights with each other. Like, they don't argue, they don't scream at each other. They go to each other with respect, like, hey, this is bothering me. Can we sit down and talk about it? So they are good. Yeah, I've heard, well, I predicted a while back that we would see her do a website, like a blog website, something kind of like Goop, but something that focuses on highlighting women-owned businesses and things that it's like, oh, the products that we're selling are from these Indian women in India, and it helps them be able to build schools in their neighborhoods. And our website is stocking some of their products, and I wrote a blog post about it. And I did hear that, because she did have the TIG, which was kind of a lifestyle website before she moved in with Harry and had to take it down. And people are saying that she's going to either bring that back or do something similar to it. And I still feel like we're going to get something like that. So, oh, congratulations on quitting smoking and cutting back on the coffee. Dude, suddenly, like, I can only handle having 1 cup of coffee in the morning. Like, I start to feel, like, sick if I drink more. And I used to be somebody that would drink, like, 3-4 cups of coffee in the morning. So, it doesn't, like, make me all jittery or anything. Like, it literally starts hurting my stomach. So, I've been, like, cutting back, too. But I'm good on 1 cup. If I do any more than that, I regret it. Then I feel like I want to throw up all of a sudden. So, but I just wanted to check on that real quick and keep the, just check that. CBD gummies. I don't know, honestly. I use CBD and it's helped me a lot. I just started back on it because I took a break for a while. But I don't know about it helping with nicotine addiction. I've never looked into it for that purpose. I know there's a lot of people that start like smoking weed to stop smoking cigarettes, but then, then they sort of get not addicted to the marijuana, but addicted to smoking the marijuana instead of smoking the cigarette because it's still the act of smoking. So I don't know if it really is the best way to break the habit or not, but I'll look into it and let you know, Yuzora. So But I also know a lot of people that said they had to they had to quit smoking weed when they were trying to quit cigarettes, because they would usually smoke a cigarette when they smoked their weed. And so, you know, because it's supposed to be that you have to stop all the things that you do when you smoke a cigarette to like quit. Like if you get your cup of coffee every morning and then have a cigarette with your first cup of coffee outside to start your day. I know a lot of people said that they had to stop having the morning cup of coffee too, because then it made them crave a cigarette. So yeah, hypnosis definitely helps. Oh no, Alexandra, I'm sorry. So it just, and I think what works for people is different for everybody too, you know, because we all have different ways of like our body handling things. We all have different levels of stress. We all have different coping mechanisms. So I think that, you know, what may work for one person isn't always going to work for everybody else. And you just kind of have to keep trying different things until you figure out, like, this is what's really helping me right now. But that goes for everything, guys. And that's why, like, a lot of times people will stop, you know, going to therapy because they didn't like the first therapist that they used. It doesn't mean that, you know, therapy isn't going to work for you. It just means you need to get a different therapist that you feel like you vibe with better. Same thing with everything when it comes to healing. So, you know, some people find acupuncture or acupressure to work really good. Other people prefer Reiki. So you just have to keep trying until you find what works best for you. But the important thing is that you don't give up and that you do keep trying to make the positive change. So, wait, what was at the dollar store? Elf bars? What are elf bars? Well, $1 crack bars? Wait, what? I'm so confused. Oh, they're vapes. Okay, I don't vape, so I was like, I have no idea. And even when I do use marijuana, which I haven't in like almost a year, I do like tinctures and edibles. Like, I don't like smoking it. I can't, I know this is like the worst, but like, I just don't like the smell of weed. I hate the smell of sage too. I still sage, but I hate the smell of it, and they smell very similar to me. So I would rather just like, you know, eat a gummy than sit there and have to like smell it while I'm putting it wherever it needs to even be to smoke it, and then lighting it up and having the smell even go out that way. So you get more flavor than nicotine almost. Oh wow. I never heard of those. I don't know anything about vaping. I thought they were talking about cheap makeup. Like, oh, it was like old discontinued like elf makeup, you know, from their old packaging that was sold at the dollar store, and then I saw the other word next to it and I was like, wait, what? Well, yeah, no, and that was the crazy thing when Claire's laced their makeup with asbestos. It was the kids' makeup, like the kids' play makeup that was like targeted towards them. And that was like the scariest part of it. So, but that's why, guys, be careful with like cheapo off-brand makeup that you get from places like AliExpress or the Dollar Tree, because they'll have like a bunch of talc in it, or God forbid asbestos, and none of those things are good for you. So it's better, you know, you don't have to only buy MAC and Dior. Like drugstore is fine. It's just, you know, when they're at those cheap off-price vendors or websites being shipped from, you know, China, and it's $1 for an eyeshadow palette, like there's probably not a whole lot of quality and safety control that went into making that, and you're putting it on your eyes. So be careful. Ooh. So Nicki's calling the duds out. Ooh. I can't. I gotta listen to that when I get off of here later. I'll listen to the replay. Okay, let's look at the city girls, and then we'll end with Ice Spice and Nicki. Ooh. She said she knows who the pranksters are and that she don't play about the devil. Oh my goodness. Oh, I said they keep putting them in danger, because what if the police show up and start shooting places up, or people start targeting their house because everybody kept putting stuff about it on Twitter. So, oh, Alexandra said that she's a Scorpio, Yazora, and you're a Sag. Like Scorpios and Sagittariuses have a wicked dry sense of humor. The e.l.f. foundation, I used it when it first came out. I haven't tried it since. I don't think I used the dewy one though. I think it was the matte one that they first came out with. And that one was a little, I remember I liked it, but I think it was a little like heavy feeling on my skin, or maybe I thought like it looked heavy. I remember it was good, but I wished that certain things were a little different about it. So that's why I just went back to using Maybelline Fit Me. But I'll have to try the glowy one, because I need to get new foundation anyways. I ran out of mine when I was putting my makeup on to get on here, and it was kind of light anyways, so I needed more of a summer color. And I don't know if you can tell by my neck, but I got sunburned. So the sunburn is kind of peeking through on my makeup a bit, because it was like already like I needed my summer shade, and then I got sunburned. So I did have sunscreen on, but it probably wore off because I was getting kind of sweaty. And I do remember I wiped my face a few times because I was helping the neighbor take stuff out to the trash and put things in her car. Oh, I use, everything I use is from the drugstore. Like, I literally use the same things all the time, because I'm like, whatever. Like, I only ever have like 10, 15 minutes tops to put my makeup on. I wear the Milani blush, the one that looks like a flower in the compact. I think it's called the Luminoso blush or something like that. So I've never had any issues with it. I've been using the same one since it came out. So it's been years. But thank you. I just figured out how I can make myself look somewhat decent in as little time as possible. So that's why I don't deviate too much from the things that I do use. So she's on AMP right now, Kolmika, on the Queen Radio on AMP. Please tell me just overall what is going on with the City Girls right now. Thank you. I know, makeup really is a personal journey. Oh, thank you, Yuzora. I'll send you a list of what I use because I've tried a bunch of stuff and unfortunately did have things that didn't work out great or broke me out or irritated my skin. It's the not on Apple Music, it's Amazon. Have they expanded it past iPhones? Because I know, like, at first people were saying that you could only access the Amazon podcast through iPhones only, or it was only worked with Apple products. I mean, I have an iPhone, so I never really keep up too much with the Samsung stuff, but I try to a little bit more because I know not all of you guys have iPhones. Because I did see like some barbs complaining that they couldn't listen, that they had to wait for somebody else to upload it on YouTube like the next day for them to be able to listen in. I know there's a couple barb channels. Shit, I can't remember the name of them, but if you do type in like Queen Radio 2023, they do stream it on their channels while she's live on AMP for people who aren't able to listen to it for whatever reason on there. So, oh, okay. Well, Amazon keeps offering me a podcast on there. I've considered it, but I don't want people to be left out. So when they update it to Android being able to access it, then maybe I'll take them up on their offer. So listen, I'm lazy, and y'all know that me and Tech are like not best friends anyways. So that's the only reason why I just keep getting another iPhone, because all I have to do is sign into my iCloud and everything pops right back up if I do have to switch my phone. And on top of it, like, I only ever change my phones like when I'm like forced to have to, because like it doesn't charge anymore or the speaker went out or something. Like, I'm not, you know, oh my God, a new phone came out, I need a new one. So maybe at some point I'll switch back to Samsung, because I did have a Galaxy, but I'm also traumatized from that experience because they had to replace my phone 13 times in 7 months because it was constantly having issues with it, with the Galaxy. And so I just, like, the last time, like, my service provider was like, we're just gonna give you an iPhone 5 because we know that you're unhappy with this and we don't want you to keep, you know, complaining about it, because I literally would scream at them. So that was how I got an iPhone in the first place. And I haven't switched since. Like, since the iPhone 5S, I've just stayed with iPhones after that. Dude, I was ready to, but I was like stuck in a freaking contract, because that was back when they used to, you know, lock you into contracts. So I couldn't like just switch. So that's why I was just like, oh my God, can you just give me any other phone? I don't care. Like, I was ready to like take whatever cheap ass phone they wanted to give me, as long as it wasn't the damn Galaxy. But they were the ones that wanted to give me the iPhone. I think I had to pay like $45 for an activation fee for it. But I was just like, I don't care anymore, as long as this damn phone works. So no, she gave up. She made me get up to go open that damn window just for her to go lay back down and go back to sleep. So, oh my God. See, and that was the thing too, that why I also got scared to ever consider going back was because people's were blowing up and catching on fire. And then I know so many people that had like Samsung like washing machines and dryers that like turned out to be such disasters that like it made me scared that I was like, maybe I just don't want to deal with Samsung as a company. Like I know some people really love their phones, but I don't know. It's just because I can't handle that if like my shit just like didn't work. So Yazora Whitney went back to go back and take another nap. So anyways, which by the way, if you guys didn't, you're not in the Patreon and you didn't know, Wednesday was 1 year since Whitney joined the family. So it was her 1 year gotcha day celebration. And next month she will turn 2. And I told her, oh, you're not going to be a baby anymore. You're going to be considered an adult cat. And her eyes got so big and she looked at me like, no, I'm still the baby. It's like, no, you're still the baby. You're just a bigger baby now. So, okay, going into the city, girls. Let's see. Oh, boy. They're having issues too about releasing this next album. QC is their label, right? And they sold to Scooter Braun because it's talking about, you know, this emperor type man who's now in charge of the label wanting to sort of control things a lot more as far as like how their releases are gonna go. Like, I don't want you guys to just do the same things that you've done in the past. And didn't they have an album that like leaked before they released it, and then it kind of like ruined the whole like it charting and doing well? Because it feels like, you know, like, I don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that everything that going forward, like, is successful. But with that comes not just about how we're going to release everything, but also we need better music than what you guys have already recorded. Like, they're not on board with what they want to put out. However, as I've always said, JT is in such a position where she has to dumb herself down, because otherwise, if she really goes full on out the way that she would want to on her verses, then it only makes Carisha look even worse. So JT is always having to hold herself back, but then the people that are, you know, sort of involved with making things are pushing her to do more. But then once they hear it, it's like, oh no, we have to do that all over again because it doesn't match. But she knows deep down inside it's because you want me to do just a little better, but I can't be fully me because it's still, well, now this doesn't sound right with Carisha. So, and the thing is that JT is allowing this to happen to herself because she does have opportunities to release solo music. And Spirit is saying that, you know, whether this is Scooter Braun or, you know, somebody that's his, you know, lackey that's right underneath him that's doing this, they've even talked to JT about her putting out solo music and are so on board with it and supportive of it, and have been pushing her to start thinking about that and start writing for it. JT's the one that keeps allowing herself to not only let her nerves get to her, but also feeling like she needs to be loyal to Carisha, when Carisha, let's be dead ass honest, Carisha would drop JT in a fucking heartbeat. If somebody came along and said, Carisha, we're going to give you your own business, $1 million a year, and make you the most famous person in the world, but you can never speak to JT again, she'd be like, no problem, bye, and block her on everything with no explanation. Carisha does not have the same level of loyalty and, you know, friendship that JT extends to her. And Spirit is saying that she is going to have to end up making a choice because she doesn't feel good about her career. And this is the thing that Spirit's saying. A lot of JT's like nerves, first of all, when she thinks, oh, I don't know if I could put out a good song. It's because she's listening to the criticism of the City Girls music. When, just like how Beyonce doesn't do the same music that she did in Destiny's Child, Ricky Martin doesn't do the same music that he did when he was a Menudo, you know, like Outkast, when they went their separate ways, they did completely different music than they did as a group. She doesn't think about that. And she doesn't consider that probably 99% of the reason why people said that song sucked had nothing to do with you, JT, and everything to do with Carisha's thick-ass tongue, that nobody could understand anything that she was saying. It's so offbeat and horrible. So, you know what I was just thinking? You know who Carisha should go start a group with? Bluetooth and Carlos. The three of them should start their own rap group and then just only release that music in North Korea. Well, that's what I said. They can release it in North Korea. So the rest of us don't have to hear it. But it's well, the guy that's with Krishan, whatever the hell his name is, if that's not his name, I don't care enough about him to learn what his real name is. I just call him Bluetooth. And I saw that his baby mama put out that Stewie song, and then there was clips of him trying to teach her how to rap it. The man who can't rap himself really needs to not be trying to help other people rap. Because I'm like, dude, you had one song that was kind of a viral hit, but you're not a good rapper, and you're not somebody that makes good music, and you don't know anything about what you're doing. And I heard that song. Oh, your coochie's bumpy and my first song is bumpin'. What the hell is that? I was just like, oh my God. Although sadly, she still sounded better than Carisha. So anyways, but she's gonna have to make a choice because, like Spirit said, a lot of her anxiety is coming from her not doing the music that she wants to, and then letting the criticism of City Girls music make her think that she's gonna face even worse criticism for her own stuff. And Spirit saying she has such a tendency to only focus on the negative instead of taking in the positive. Like, look how many people are telling you that you do good. I mean, Nicki Minaj, for God's sakes, like, thinks that you're a good rapper and has encouraged you to get in the booth and write and release your own music. Now you've got Scooter Braun pushing you to do it. Like, these aren't people who are going to blow smoke up anybody's ass for no reason, especially if your label executives want you to do that. Obviously, if they didn't believe in you, they wouldn't say so, because they're the ones that would end up losing money behind it. So she needs to, you know, get out of her own way and get out of Carisha's way too, because Carisha is just only holding her back and only going to continue to do so. Spirit's also saying that there's something coming up that Miami and Santana are both gonna do some really shady shit to JT again, and it's gonna be a situation where, you know, a lot of times people speculate like, oh, they were being shady to her, they're not her friends. Something is gonna happen where there is going to be absolutely no doubt 100% these people are not your friends, JT, and if you let this slide, then nobody's gonna feel bad for you, you know, anymore, kind of a situation, because it will be very, very, very obvious. And I do feel her feelings getting extremely hurt by it. But again, it's the universe trying to show her these people are not in your corner. They don't love you and support you and consider you at the same level that you do for them. So she needs to, yeah, she definitely needs a better team that's going to kind of keep her off the internet and just lock her in the studio and be like, put it in the music, girl, come on. It's like, they got drugs for everything. Do they not have drugs that can make you like have some courage? We're on the Spice Girls, the City Girls, and then we will do Nicki and Ice after this. So JT isn't jealous of anybody else, though. Spirit said JT doesn't sit there and like clock other people and get jealous over the things that they do. She's more just like, wow, like that's really, you know, like I wish like I had the guts to do that, more than, oh, I'm jealous that they got an opportunity or that they're out here doing all these things. And it is really crazy when you think about it. We've gotten solo music from Carisha. Everybody knows I love Sweetie, but I'm also always going to admit that like she really needs to work on the rapping. It's like there's so many other people. I mean, even Bluetooth has released solo music. Like there's so many other people out here who suck that have no shame and are like, screw it, I'll go ahead and put out music. Screw everybody. I'm going to prove them wrong, and then they prove everybody right. Whereas JT, who everybody wants music from and actually has talent, is like too freaking scared and won't do it. So, yeah, I think that JT definitely wanted to be the princess of rap, but the problem is she didn't step up to the plate to be the princess of rap. You know, and you can't get mad that somebody else is doing what you should have been doing, you know? So it's so crazy too, because Libras and Geminis will literally be so freaking loyal when they shouldn't be to people. Especially Geminis, man. I mean, at least at some point, Libras are just like, okay, I saw the signs. It's time for me to walk away, and we give up at some point, and then we become much smarter about that going forwards. Whereas, like, Geminis will be so freaking loyal, overly loyal to people. But Aquariuses can be very hit or miss. I think it just depends on who they are as people overall and what other placements they got on, if they're going to be on the good side of that or not. Yes, I can confirm that for you too, Danielle, because I'm the one that's sitting there being like, stop being loyal to these people, cut them off. Like, I'm always on, like, my Cancer and Gemini friends to, like, stop being so loyal to the wrong people and stop feeling like you have to give everybody a chance and an opportunity to come back and fuck up all over again. I'm like, stop being so forgiving. Stop being so nice to people. That's my Virgo moon. I love Geminis. Geminis and Sagittarius and Virgos are my favorites. because they're so loyal, so kind, but they're also straight shooters. Like, they don't, you know, they'll just tell you how they feel with no filter, and I find that really refreshing. So, oh boy, okay. I don't feel the City Girls like making this whole "we broke up" announcement, but after this next album that they release, they are going to go in separate directions. And again, just to reference Destiny's Child, because remember how they never broke up? They're still a group, but, you know, they don't. It's like, it's been 84 years. We're never getting another Destiny's Child album. We're just going to get separate music from all of them. And then every once in a while, for certain things, we'll get all the girls performing together. It'll kind of be like that, but I do see that at some point they're going to go in very separate directions from each other. And because it's the Knight of Swords, Spirit is saying to read this as, you know, swords cards are air signs, that it's really Carisha who goes off in such a different direction. Because Carisha, let's be honest, deep down inside, she knows JT could really actually make it in the music industry without me. I, on the other hand, would not be able to have a super long, successful solo rap career. So we've already seen Miami trying to kind of put her foot in other doors, you know, with her Carisha Please podcast, with like her appearances on certain movies and TV shows. And it really is because she knows, like, I'm going to have to find other lanes to put myself in if I want to keep the lifestyle that I have, if I want to make money. It's a big reason why she uses Diddy, because he can open doors and has way more connections than she could have on her own. And it's not just about, oh, he's giving me a monthly allowance to play Sugar Beard right now, but also she is looking at, in the long run, I will have met so many other people because of me being around him that I probably wouldn't have met before. So at least that gives me a foot in the door to maybe get into movies or be an influencer or whatever the hell else I want to end up doing. So because she's, you know, it's gonna be Carisha that really, like, because it's like, okay, they take a break. At that point, JT actually does get up off her butt and starts, you know, really trying to do a little bit more as far as a solo career goes. Carisha's going to be gone with the wind, chasing whatever, and it'll be like, oh, JT didn't even hear from her for the last 2 years. They still follow each other on Twitter, you know, but have they really had any conversations with each other? Not really. Like, it'll just be one of those things where it's just like, you know, you don't get in a real fight with somebody, you just, things feel weird and different, and you just stop talking to each other. So, wait, what's going on with Uzi? There's a rumor of Uzi dropping a song with JT and Nicki on his next project. Nicki loves Lil Uzi, though. She literally calls him her little baby. So I could see that. But see, that's still like, and I think that JT needs to do more features, because it gives her the opportunity to do more without Carisha, without her having to be completely all alone by herself on a song. And it's that stepping stone to where she needs to go, you know, so that she can get comfortable with it. Which she is trying to get a little bit more comfortable with, you know, stepping outside of the box and putting herself out there and doing her own thing. She just hasn't fully jumped into it yet. It's going to take her a little bit more time, but after this album, if it ever comes out, that'll be the end of them as a group and as friends. And, you know, this whole situation that Spirit was saying was going to happen with, you know, Miami and Santana being really kind of fucked up towards JT, it will happen during the rollout of this album or maybe right after it drops. And so then it's like going to be kind of tense, them having to work together. And I don't know if you guys remember, it was like that a couple years ago and people thought that they broke up, and then people were saying like, oh, you can tell they don't really have like a friendship anymore. It's just a business relationship because they were very different around each other for a while. And I feel like they only put on this whole, let's start going out and hanging out together in public to try to dispel those rumors. But I think it's going to be like that all over again and a little bit worse. So, dude, I can't stand Santana, so I have no idea. I don't find him funny or entertaining. And I don't like the things that he says about people's children. So, no, those songs did not. But that's why JT lets that affect her and thinks, oh, because a City Girls song didn't do good, my own song won't. And it's like, but those are different situations. So, no, not Carlos Santana, who's actually talented. Which, the fact that you said that, and like I've had that Maria song stuck in my head on and off all week. And then when I said his name, Carlos Santana, I heard, and to the sound of the guitar, played by Carlos Santana in my head. Well, that's the thing that I don't understand. Why would you want to call yourself something so similar to other people's names? Like everybody wants to be Cash Doll, Cuban Doll, Asian Doll, Lil Nas X when there's already the original Nas. There's Carlos Santana, but you want to go by Santana. There's Lil Baby and Da Baby, and it's like, that's so confusing to try to keep all those people straight. If I was going to be an artist, my name would be like Rainbow Sunflower American or some crazy shit that completely made me stand out and was nothing like anybody else's name. So that way people aren't confusing me. Or is this Lil Baby or Da Baby? And which one is which? Because then it's easier for you to build name recognition, a fan base, get people to recognize who you are. And that's what you should be doing as an artist. So, I am okay with Ice Spice being the sixth Spice Girl. Oh my God. Well, if you guys have questions about Nicki and Ice, drop them below. I will answer them for about 10 minutes and then I got to get off of here because I have to move my car because they're blocking all the parking things off to repaint the lines tomorrow. So, oh my God, I don't even remember right now. Sana, oh my God. Well, dude, I'm not gonna lie, because I haven't eaten all day. I've been water fasting all day. It was like 50 buffalo wings, like sounds amazing right now. But I also know, of course, there's no way that I would be able to eat 50 buffalo wings. But like, you know, an 8-piece sounds good. So let me see. How is Ice feeling about all this success in the Barbie World song? Spirit saying she's so grateful and excited, and she's kind of in this place where it's like, oh my God, like I never would have imagined, you know, that like things would have blew up this fast for me and I would get to where I'm at so quickly and have all these opportunities. Spirit's also saying, it's really good that she's a very grounded person, because a lot of people that would barely just, oh, I had a song that went viral on TikTok and then everything exploded the way that it has in less than a year for me, would have gone to some other people's heads. Cough, cough, Carlos. Remember her, that she thought that she was just the shit, and still does, because she had a real good run her first year too. But Spirit's saying that Ice is trying to keep that perspective of other people have had really great, first and second years in the game, and then they let themselves either get caught up in drama or drugs and alcohol or dating the wrong people or just, squandering opportunities. So she's trying to be really smart because she knows that this is something that she does want longevity in. So she's trying to keep her feet on the ground and really be smart about all the choices that she's making. And especially, like, she feels like having Nicki on her side and mentoring her is going to really help with that too. Because it does feel like there's a big sister, little sister connection between her and Nicki, where Nicki really is, kind of stepping up and stepping in to try to mentor her, and she's really appreciative of that. Nicki really likes her too, is what Spirit's saying. I don't feel like Atlantic is going to try to work with Nicki again because they know it's going to be a hell no from her. But I also don't feel like they're going to be in a rush to try to find their own Nicki Minaj. I feel like they're going to try it. Honestly, I feel like as far as Atlantic goes, on top of them prioritizing, artists like Lizzo and Jack Harlow who do sell, I feel like we're going to see them kind of almost change direction and not be so hyper focused on rap and trying to push more pop groups and pop acts on their label. Because pop always sells and it's easier. You get a wider audience with it. And so Spirit said, because they've got such financial problems in-house, that they do have to take a step back and say, what are the types of music that are going to make us more money? And we need to focus on that. Ice will be way bigger than Cardi Bubbles because she's smart and she actually can write and she can actually rap and she's much more talented. Do Nicki and Ice have any thoughts on the Sweetie Icy Girl, Icy World song controversy? First of all, Spirit saying Sweetie already reached out to both of them and let them know that just because that guy is saying something does not mean that Sweetie is in agreement with or feels the same way. And let them know that she really is happy for them. She thought they killed the track because Sweetie's not like that. And she doesn't want people thinking that, she's starting shit or she's jealous or she has a problem with people. And she genuinely loves Nicki and she does like Ice. So I feel like she cleared that up. I feel like as far as Nicki's concerned, she feels like this dude was either put up to this, like, oh, go bring this up and make a big deal about it to like kind of try to overshadow the release and attack Nicki once again. Because remember, I told you guys there was going to be an attempt at another hate train. It just wouldn't be successful this time. And so that was a part of it. But also Nicki feels like he's clout chasing. And obviously, people, if know how the industry works, stuff like this happens all the time. But just because you submitted a song and a sample, they didn't pick you to be on the soundtrack. They wanted us to do it. Like, that's not our problem, and it doesn't mean we stole anything from you. So she just, you know, told Ice, like, don't take it serious, don't respond to it, it's bullshit. Oh my God, I know, Lindsay. Why is 11? Put question in front of your questions, guys, so they don't get mixed up with the comments. But actually, don't submit anymore, you guys, because I do have to go in a minute, and I'm not going to be able to answer anymore. I'm just going to try to get through the ones that are up here. Nicki's supportive of Ice going on tour with Doja. I feel like this is the thing, guys. Anything that Ice does, she's not running it by Nicki in the sense of like, oh, you're my leader or my mom and I have to get your permission, but more so since you're this industry heavyweight and you are mentoring me, like, you know, I just want your advice or perspective before I say yes to certain things. So don't ever think that anything that Ice Spice does is ever going to completely blindside Nicki and that then Nicki's going to have an issue with it, because that's so not the case. Spirit saying, you know, Nicki was very supportive of that and was extremely happy for her because it's a huge thing for her. And, you know, remember, this is also pretty similar to something that Nicki did. Nicki didn't have an album out, but she was going on tours and doing all kinds of shows with much bigger people. And then when she dropped her album, it was so successful because she made sure everybody knew who she was and was anticipating that album from her. And so that's where I feel like, you know, Ice Spice being Carlos's replacement, she's paid attention to those types of things. She's learning from Nicki. She's doing the same types of things to establish herself so that when it is time for her first album to come out, it's going to do a whole lot better than maybe some other people's first albums have or would. Okay, I already answered that one. Didn't even, let me see. We'll see some more stuff from what do you call, Ice and Nicki together. I don't feel like Irving's gonna try to sabotage Nicki. He doesn't care to do that. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, we will be back next Saturday. And I promise I will have more content for you guys this week. I do miss doing it. Like I said, it's like life has just been lifing lately, but things are going to calm down soon. So, oh, dang. Virgo rising, Scorpio moon, and a Capricorn sun. That girl is ready to freaking work. And she has a lot of perfectionist energy as well. So no wonder. Because that is some dedication to a career and a lot of perfectionism and a lot of passion for what you do also. So very good strategist too. But all right, guys. Well, I love you all so much. I hope everybody has a good rest of their weekends. Also, if you wanted to book your own personal private reading with me, you can go to psychicbellalove.com and you can use code PRIDE for 40% off. That does end on the 30th. I did add some appointments for next week. So if you want to get in, then book now because they'll go quick. But I love everybody. I hope y'all have a good one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.